the B-Boys.
Welcome to the very first one.
The very first B-Boys.
Yeah.
This is it.
We're here.
We talked about this for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the idea has been brewing for years.
Yeah.
It hasn't manifested, but it's just been like, brain stew.
Simmering.
Mm-hmm.
Simmering.
Yeah.
What other cooking words you could use?
Sauteing.
Sauteing.
It's been crisping our brains.
Oh, yeah.
By watching so many bad movies.
Yeah, that's true. Bad movies is subjective.
True. We watched a lot over the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, we should do one on a bomb roll at some point.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, well, intros.
Yeah.
Together we are the B-Boys.
Indeed.
So that's important.
But neither of our names start with B.
No, we do have a friend that starts with B.
Yeah.
Oh, I edit that out. You start.
Sure. I'm Nick, and I like movies.
Okay.
So that's why I'm here. I've worked around them for basically my whole adult life in movie theaters and video stores, and I went to the university for film studies, stupidly. So
That's stupid.
and now here I am making a podcast.
Hell yeah!
So
Dude, this is
5 years paid off.
I do really appreciate your catchphrase for your career in movies, if you'd like to share that.
What is it? I don't know. Oh yeah, I've been slinging corn for over a decade. This is true. I have.
Movie theaters and movie rental places. You worked in a movie rental place. That's sick.
I did, yeah. It's like it was a pretty cool experience, and honestly, it's where I found that there were other people who were as nerdy as me, which is when I really came out of my shell.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Even in this podunk city that we live in.
Yes.
You're able to find that community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I like it. Well, my name's Gerard, or Alex.
Yeah.
Which is a thing, but
two very different.
Yeah. So if you hear Gerard or Alex, don't get confused. That's me, the little Mexican. No understanding of movies in any way.
That's not true. All you need to do to understand them is watch them.
Yeah, I mean, I love Moana, so
yeah,
I think that counts for something.
I mean, it's got Dwayne the Rock Johnson, so of course it's.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I've never seen.
You never?
No, I've never seen one. Yeah,
I have to make a list.
Yeah,
all right,
for sure.
I am a student, not in film. I'll forever be a student. I feel like I'll never finish.
Yeah.
But I love it.
A student of more than life, right? As well.
Hard knock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
hard rock.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
That's really it for me.
Yeah.
I have nothing. I actually have nothing to add. As far as movies go, okay. You introduced me to good movies, and then whenever you give me a recommendation, I watch them. If I'm lucky enough, you watch them with me. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm watching the X-Files.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with it. But
yeah, I think the thing is, people, if you love movies and you have something to say about them, that's all it takes. If you like them, that's all it takes, and that's why I think, your passion will shine through in anything. Okay.
I have no passion for anything.
Alright, well, you're you're passing interest to pass the time.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
You'll come up with something.
I love it.
So we've watched 2 movies this week.
2 beautiful works of art.
Very different. Well, they're both horror movies. But.
Yeah, but I think a lot of what we're going to watch is going to be horror movies.
Yes, this is true.
Some art house,
yeah.
of course. But,
yeah, of course.
But 2 very different horror movies.
Yeah.
The first one is?
Well, let's Halloween Kills.
Okay, Halloween Kills.
You want to do that one first?
Yeah, we can do Halloween Kills first.
It's the hot one.
Yeah, we kind of have to.
Yeah,
I guess.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
I think I just saw that it made the most money for an R-rated movie since the pandemic started. The box office reports. So
really, it beat out Quiet Place too.
I think it did. Although that came out right at the right as some theaters were open and some weren't, kind of. So I think it was that one still had a tough go.
Okay.
I think Halloween Kills kind of.
Yeah, I guess it had that writing for it.
Yeah. It's just the season too, right? Everybody, even the people who don't like horror movies during this time of year, are like, yeah.
I mean, it's a horror movie called Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
And it comes out
You can't not see it.
Yeah, exactly. No.
You gotta go see it.
Everyone and their kids are gonna see it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
It's funny, we actually, at the theater I work at, we just played Scream on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And someone brought, like a 5 or 6 year old, they're 2, 5 or 6 year old kids to that movie.
No way.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Did the kids cry?
I don't know, I left when it started. I was like, I wanted to be there as little as possible because it's my job, but they were very young. But they were with their parents, so I guess there's nothing we could really do to stop it.
I guess so. Wait.
Also, the internet. It's like Scream is before the internet, and it's like kids see probably way worse things now. Scream has some blood.
Yeah,
it's
I guess. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I remember a guy screaming into a phone and crying. Covered in blood. He might have been the killer.
Right, yeah.
Am I remembering that right?
I think so. Like, the movie starts with a woman screaming into the phone and gets killed. But at the end, yes, there's 2 killers and one's like on the phone to try and deceive, I forget who he calls, but like, to try and deceive someone to say that he was part of the attack, or like he was attacked.
Right. Okay. I remember.
We can revisit that one.
We can revisit them. Yeah, I'm getting off track.
Yeah.
Okay, so Halloween Kills. Mm-hmm. It's the second installment of a trilogy of movies put forth by who?
David Gordon Green.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else has he done?
I'm pretty sure he, in the early 2000s, directed a movie called George Washington, which I've never seen, but is like a highly acclaimed kind of independent American film. And then I think he went on to really just schlock it up and make a bunch of shitty movies, to be honest. We should double check that because I don't remember. But sure. I think he just went on to make some like dumb comedies. Like maybe he made 30 minutes or less. Like he's worked with Danny McBride before, I think, which is why they kind of collaborated. Because Danny McBride is one of the writers of the scripts of these movies.
Right. I want to get into that because like I went in, as I do with everything else in life, I went in with no thought or understanding of anything. And the movie was written in an odd but familiar way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just watched a ton of Eastbound and Down.
Right, okay. Well, so it's interesting because he wrote the first one too, and I've seen people say that this one has less comedy, but I think this one has a little bit more, but you still had elements of it in the first one.
Yeah. From what I remember of the first one, I just remember like the cool Halloween shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was very like slow moving Michael. Yeah. I'm terrified. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And go ahead. No, and I think that's like kind of where the difference lies is like that first one was really truly focused on kind of Michael Myers, the person or entity or the shape or whatever you want to call him, and this one is more about the people like around Michael Myers, right? And it feels more to me like an 80s slasher where it just has like dumb characters for the sake of being like, well, we got to put something on like to zazz this movie up, like give it a little character, right? So that's why there's all these characters who have nothing to do with the story, but just kind of have one-liners or have like silly little quirks about them that just die mindlessly.
Oh my god, the nurse and the doctor at the beginning.
Yeah.
Dr. Love and was it Nurse Feelgood?
Ooh, I don't.
Was that her name? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. They're so funny. Horrible acting.
Well, it very much it's like comedy movie acting in a horror movie. So it is a little like jarring and a little like disarming when you watch it because it's meant to, I feel like it's meant to make you laugh, but obviously as a horror movie, it's like tough to like balance those two things. And I think I didn't like. I mean, not that like I get scared of movies often, but it just didn't feel like tense that much.
Yeah, and I guess like. This is by no means my own thought. Like I didn't come up with this thought. I've heard it from you, I've heard it from so many people, but it's like the movie very much felt like it was going for that like 80s slasher remake in a way, right? And I don't know. I think they captured it pretty well in my mind. Like it was kind of member berries. Like it felt a little pushed at times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I was watching this guy like. Kind of act okay, and then all of a sudden he's dead in the car, and I was like, it's kind of, that's reminiscent.
Yeah, and it definitely focuses heavily on with even specific flashbacks to the original film, which they've never really done before. I mean, obviously, some of the movies all tie into each other some way, other than Halloween 3, but like this was the first time they really referenced like the specific timeline of that night, because it's about the cop like failing to shoot him, which is brought up once or twice, like in Halloween 2018. But in this one, it's like the focal point of the story is like the regret this cop has that he didn't just kill someone.
Right,
Which is kind of fucked up, to be honest, because he's like, I should have just fucking executed this person for no reason. But
Yeah. No, and like,
I mean, not for no reason, but without trial.
Yes. And that's like the weird thing though, is you're like, wait, wasn't Michael Myers already like a murderer?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not a cop.
Yeah.
I don't know how cops think anyway. Well, I mean, I know how we're supposed to think cops think.
Yeah.
But Michael Myers is dressed up in blue coveralls.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying. I don't trust it. It's a guy in a creepy mask.
Yep.
Terrifying. I don't trust it.
Yep.
And then you hear your partner screaming upstairs. He's this huge fuck off dude in scary overalls and a scary mask.
Yeah. And you've seen the way he's killed like dozens of other people that are just mutilated and
why don't you kill him? Why don't?
Because then there'd be no movie.
No, I know.
They have tried. They do try. And it's like he just gets up and keeps going. So.
And I guess that has to do with the whole shape, and I'm sure there's like other stuff that other smarter people will think about. Well, you are one of those smarter people.
I would never claim that.
All I'm saying is I'm going to this being like, I just want to see someone die.
Yeah, no, but I think that was my other thing was like I had heard that this one had like the most brutal kills of any Halloween movie, and I think maybe I'm too desensitized because I was like, yeah, they were pretty brutal, but they weren't like none of them made me like actually. I mean, the knife one. Okay, well, should we spoil it? I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to jump into this.
Yeah.
As far as spoilers go, do we want to? Yeah, we're definitely going to have spoilers.
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just kind of give you a little
warning.
Point right here. Warning. Spoilers. Skip ahead.
Yeah.
Or don't. Turn it off.
Turn it off. You probably stopped watching. Yeah. But the knife in the eye, like through the head was good.
God, in the car.
It's good effects.
They held it. Mm-hmm. Like they held it, and the music was pretty. That was great.
Yeah.
And then I burst out laughing with the fluorescent light bulb. If you haven't seen it already and you don't care about spoilers, the best part is Michael walks into a kitchen, like a full kitchen.
Yeah.
And you're
nice
like,
kitchen.
Yeah, nice kitchen, stock. There's there's knives, there's everything. There's a cast iron pan. Get some crazy blunt force trauma action in there.
Yeah.
But Michael has this like moment where you're kind of like, oh, is he looking for an instrument of death?
Yeah.
And then you're like, mind's going crazy. What's he gonna get? What's he gonna get? And then this guy's been locked up in jail for all his life, and somehow he's smart enough to know to reach underneath the cabinet, grab a fluorescent light tube, break it, and then he throats someone with it.
Yes. It also, he like looks around in a comical way where you can like see him thinking about it, where it's like normally he never thinks at all, and he's just this entity, but he like stops and he like looks around and he's like, well, yeah, I guess this will work. Like he thinks about it for a long time, and then he tests every knife in that kitchen. He grabs like 7 or 8 knives and stabs them all in the person's back, and it's like, is that just because he's like seeing which one is best? I think it is, but
I think you're right.
Also confusing.
Yeah, they did a few, and like I'm familiar with like the whole Halloween. There's like 4 timelines where number 3 is its own whatever.
Has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, and like I'm sure we'll do a Friday the 13th one of these.
Yeah,
we can get into that kind of deal, but back to what I was saying. They seem to play with kind of the set character that is Michael Myers quite a bit, which I thought was odd.
Yeah.
Like, again, testing the knives in a body. I never saw anything like that.
Yeah, it's like, it's a little, I mean, and not that, these movies, again, like you said, there's so many, but like, he kind of in this one, like, sometimes does things intentionally and then sometimes not. And it's like, is he supernatural or isn't he? Like, it doesn't quite, I think, have it all the way worked out. But I think that also lends to the fact that, like, the third one is probably going to be doing something different. Like, maybe not totally different, obviously, because it's going to be a Halloween movie. But I think they are leading to go in a different direction with the third one where, I mean, you'd hope after these two were kind of just I wouldn't call them simple, but, like, relatively straightforward, that the third one is going to have some sort of like ambitious twist where it's like, oh, he is supernatural, and maybe they'll bring like the Man in Black or the cult or something like that, because like that is also part of the Halloween lineage. But I don't know, like I think that's an interesting question, is like what the plan is for the third one, because obviously Laurie, it's big spoilers, but Laurie is still alive at the end of this one, and Michael's still alive, so it's like they're gonna have to meet in the third one to finish it off, but it has to be a whole movie as well.
If Laurie doesn't die, I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? Like they're so.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you going into this one what I thought was actually gonna happen. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, like I know what Michael Myers is gonna do, but I don't know what the other surrounding elements are gonna be.
Yeah, and I remember, like, I tried to go into this one knowing as little as possible. Like, I've watched the movies. I like the movies. But I wanted to go in knowing as little about this movie as possible. One of the only things I read was they were bringing back some characters from past movies. Yeah. Which I was expecting more from, in a way. Like, not more, like, they had a lot of screen time, of course, but more as in, like, I was expecting them to tie their stories in a bit more, which they didn't, and I will say I do appreciate. Yeah. Because it didn't feel like forced, and it didn't feel like a bunch of fan service.
It's true, but it did make sense to me, though, where you have these people who did survive the original one, right? And they were tiny children, and now when they're older, it kind of makes sense that, like, they have this anger, and even though it's mostly fear, it's manifested as anger. And I thought that was the best part of the movie, was kind of the community coming together to fight Michael. Like, I thought that was probably the coolest part of this one. Yeah.
You like when people work together to get stuff done? It's kind of lame.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's just
sappy.
Like, I mean, no. Well, not even that they don't get it done because they fuck it up.
Yeah,
they fuck up. They fuck up who Michael is. They like accidentally cause someone to die because they fuck up who Michael is. Then they don't kill him when they do find him. And also, it's just like, I mean, it's not a good thing, but I thought it was an interesting twist on this movie, because without that in this movie, this like town aspect and Tommy Doyle's character, like there really would be nothing going on at all, frankly. Like, it's like, it's honestly cuts of like Michael just killing random people, and then cuts to like the townspeople mostly, like, because Laurie doesn't actually do much.
Yeah, and I actually like that. Yeah, I like, because, so again, if you haven't watched it, Laurie spends most of her time in the hospital recovering from a stab wound from Halloween 2018. Yeah. And it was really obvious that they couldn't bring Laurie in because she'd have to die.
Yeah, or like you'd had to have some sort of... Yeah, the story wouldn't work as a second part of a trilogy, which is also why this one felt kind of a little... not as strong to me as the first one, because the first one you could watch, and when it ends, you could have just ended and you could have not had any more, and it would have been awesome. Yeah. But this one clearly is like... It clearly sets it up like, this is the second part. Get ready for the third part.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, again, if they brought Laurie in, it would have been awkward. They kept her in the hospital. You knew what they were doing, but it was also like, oh, I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I'm sure that, again, deeper thoughts on this are going to be all over the internet.
Yeah,
well,
but these are our thoughts.
Yeah,
I mean, I will say that ultimately, I think I preferred the 2018 one over this one. Okay. I thought it did a better job of having atmosphere. I thought the individual scenes were stronger. The scene when the two podcaster characters in the 2018 one are awesome, which, like, yeah, they deserve to die. But yeah, like when he's in the bathroom and he's like slowly opening the stall doors, and like which is also very reminiscent of the Rob Zombie Halloween, which is not as good of a movie, but still, like,
I haven't seen any of the Rob Zombies.
That's probably fine. I don't think you need to. But then he has the like teeth, and he like drops the teeth over the door in the stall. I know that one is such a good scene. Like, I love that scene in the first one, and that's like the first time you really see him get busy.
Okay. I like that. It sounds like a sick scene. Rings a bell. Mm-hmm. I probably saw a clip. I probably didn't see the movie. I'm pretty sure, but that sounds unreal. Yeah. Anything with teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the first one is, it's like, it's grisly. This one wasn't. I wouldn't call it grisly. It does have a bit more of like a, which again, it's like an 80s slasher, which is fun. But I also, it's a weird experience because like often you watch those 80s slashers and you're at home. Well, I mean, because we weren't born in the 80s, if that wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
But like you're at home and you're with friends and you can kind of laugh and talk throughout the whole movie. But like seeing it in a big theater, it is a bit of a weird experience to have people like laughing and some people aren't laughing, and it's like,
yeah, or what our little group of friends was doing, laughing at inappropriate times.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey, we're making our own fun.
Yeah.
We're making our own fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the 2018 one, I really liked. I like that character with the long hair that kind of looks like a toad.
Right, yeah, the friend character, which again is an element of comedy in the first one.
Yeah.
But like his character also served a purpose in the story big time. So yeah.
And he got a great kill on
He did. It was one of the best kills. And he actually makes an appearance in this one.
With the death mark.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The wound.
Yeah, the death wound.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah. And much like that 2018, this one also has a great score, which is done by John Carpenter again, and like there's a few like stinger cues when like something happens and the music changes or swells up, and it's awesome.
Yeah. No.
Fuck, I love John Carpenter.
He's so good.
Yes.
He's on that little playlist I have of work music. Oh my god. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you a bit about the music. Mm-hmm. Intro music.
Classic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I was watching that Netflix documentary on the Halloween movie recently to catch myself up to snuff a bit on some of the older stuff that I don't remember. I didn't want to read. My eyes hurt, so I watched.
Reading is for nerds.
Losers. Chongos. And they were describing it as like a very simple song. Mm-hmm. Same progression.
Yeah.
Just in a different key.
Yeah.
Or a different octave, whatever you want to call it. But it's so easy.
I know nothing about music. So.
Neither do I. Yeah. But it's so simple. And I know, some of the best music is simple. But like the way he can do it, and like he can make incredible movies and incredible music, which just seems like you need two different brains.
Oh, my man.
Oh my god.
And he all the scores are kind of similar, but they're all different and so good and like in their own way. And they're so recognizable, even though they're so simple. And
my question is, does he know?
Does he know what?
Like, does John Carpenter know that this is a successful soundtrack?
I think so, because to be honest with you, I think I'm not going to psychoanalyze John Carpenter, but like his movies clearly like around the mid 90s and after just really took a nosedive.
A few examples.
Ghosts of Mars.
Okay.
The Ward, which is like a 2011, like he tried to come back and make The Ward. It's not very good. What's that? Vampires with James Woods. Like they're just like his old movies had some elements of like cheese in them, but they were either fun or still scary, or like the effects in The Thing are kind of cheesy, but they're also the best effects of all time. Like it's a hard balance to strike, but he does it. But I think he just lost that knack. But the music stays consistent the whole way through. Right. And like now even he doesn't make films anymore, whether it's because he doesn't want to or because they don't live up to other people's standards or his standards, who knows, but he still makes music.
Yeah.
And like he releases albums of him still just writing music, and he tours.
Oh, he tours?
He tours. Yeah, he played like Coachella 2 or 3 years ago, which is hilarious. I know. I think it also brings him closer with his son, who he writes music with. Him and his son perform music. I don't know. Well, the albums and the scores all say like John and Cody Carpenter.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I wish my dad liked me that much. Yeah. No, that's unreal. I didn't know that about him. Yeah, I knew he was great composer.
Do you know he loves basketball?
Of course he loves basketball.
He loves basketball and video games. He literally does.
Oh, no way.
Yes, he does.
Are you John Carpenter?
I wish. Every day I pray that when I wake up, I'm just like, no.
I would trade 60 years of my life to be in his boots.
Yes.
Totally. Gladly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unreal. When we were leaving the theater, you were talking to one of our friends, and you mentioned something about you were hoping that they'd have a version of the song with a guitar riff in it.
Oh yeah. So speaking of that kill of the character that looks like a toad, I should remember his name. I don't. But Dewey, I want to call him Dewey.
Dewey it is. Yeah. I like Dewey.
But like then Allison, who is the main like character of this last film and this new film, Laurie's granddaughter, like sees him, and then she like screams, and then Michael and it's honestly like the best moment in the movie. And again, it's like got that atmosphere and that tone that's scary, which this one kind of didn't have, which is what I was missing. Where he comes around the corner, and I think, and it's this like wow, it's this weird noise. And I think I heard it was described that they used a violin bow on an electric guitar to get that weird sound effect. And it's like the best music cue in the movie. And the first time Allison, who's the new kind of like main character for this trilogy, sees Michael and they meet face to face. It was just a great moment and a great musical cue. And like, I mean, I guess it would have been cheap to reuse that one, but like that was probably my favorite musical cue from the 2018 one. So
I mean, it was good. But it also wasn't like the defining feature, so I feel like they should have brought it back.
Right, yeah.
I do have 3 things to say, 2 of which are throwaways. Okay. The first one is violin bow on the guitar is a Jimmy Page thing from Led Zeppelin, so they can fuck off from stealing that.
Okay.
Second, Allison? Sorry, is that her name?
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure.
Forgettable, didn't like her acting.
Really?
At least in the new one.
Okay, I was going to say, because she doesn't, again, much like Laurie, she isn't given that much to do, and she only really, like, only at the end does she really do anything in this movie. And also, she forgives her asshole boyfriend that she broke up with in the first one, which I didn't like. Like, as soon as they saw each other, they just embraced when he had just, like, made out with a different girl and threw her phone in the, like, in the yogurt or the punch at the party, at the high school dance. She like catches him and she's like whatever, and he like throws her phone in, and then they see each other and she just like hugs him like Cameron. And it's like I'm like I don't know, like I feel like he was still an asshole even if you are in mortal danger, but
yeah,
I guess that changes things. But
I also feel like if we try and pick apart her like reasoning, we're all of a sudden ascribing a lot of thought that the movie producers maybe didn't put into it.
True, yes,
but you know,
I mean.
No, go for
it. I was because it makes sense because he's still alive. So you want all the characters that are alive to like be on the same page for the movie.
Yeah, like
that makes sense.
Her grandma just got stabbed. Her dad just got killed. I'm sure there's ways of making it.
Absolutely.
You know, you can flush it out pretty easily in your own mind, I guess. But I just didn't like her. She did like little snarl, and I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I really enjoyed her character in the 2018 one, and in this one, it just was like a little. It just was not in it. She wasn't in it as much and wasn't given as much to do. Yeah. But again, I'm sure that honestly, I think now this is going to be my prediction for what happens in the third one is Laurie will die early on, which will give Allison a reason, and now her whole family has basically been butchered, which is really sad, but will give her kind of that like final girl theme that every Halloween movie or every slasher movie has, where she will go on to fight and kill Michael at some point at the end. That's what I think. Like, I mean, she's clearly poised as like the new Laurie, basically.
Yeah.
She's going to be given the like last thing to do.
Yeah, I hope she's kind of like. I mean, I'm sure her character's gonna like arc and progress and develop. I really liked her in the first one.
Yeah,
I do definitely understand what you're saying about how she just wasn't in this Halloween Kills, which definitely could have been part of what I'm saying. You're just explaining to me why I don't like something.
Well, I mean, if you think about like the one real big decision she made, it was when she's with her boyfriend and his dad is like, okay, I'm gonna go into the Myers house alone, and they're both like, yeah, okay, and it's like, what? Like everybody knows, like the whole thing of this whole plan and this whole night was nobody split up because we have power in numbers, and like he catches you off guard, so nobody split up, and then they were like, yeah, go in alone, and then he goes in and dies, and then they go inside, which was again kind of like, I mean, people in slasher movies make dumb decisions, but I was like, like you could have just gone in with him, and this probably would have been slightly less of a worse situation, but
gotta have a movie.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. You have to do something to have a movie.
I will say I really like how Michael kills her boyfriend.
I was disappointed by that one because I didn't see any. Like he smashes his head through a banister and then just kind of moves it around a bunch, but like I couldn't actually tell if he was being stabbed by it or like what was actually happening. Like
I assumed that like part of the railing just kind of like penetrated his torso. But
see, I'm so depraved because I'm like, it would have been.
I want to see it.
It would have been cool then, but like a bloodstream dripping from the the banister down this like onto the stairs would have been a very like powerful like striking image, and it's like his head just lying on the banister.
Yeah,
which is I mean I'm just being
I think you're asking
nitpicky.
I think you're asking Nick Picky.
Yeah, I'm Nick Picky.
Nick Picky. I think you're asking for some Tom Savini shit.
Yeah, which I like.
Yes. Oh no.
Or like when Michael twists his neck, and then Michael twists his neck when it's on the banister. Like you could.
Oh yeah, you like see his like neck bone sticks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just depraved. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No apologizing. We all want to see.
Wearing a sweatshirt. That's knives.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Sick. Yeah. This is the official uniform of every 30-year-old. Hell yeah. Yeah, mine has like a little grave mark on it somewhere. Super angst. Oh well. Yeah. Overall, I really liked it though. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to have that kind of movie this time of year, and especially like honestly, you miss experiences like that over COVID, where you can't get to see movies like that in theaters.
Yeah, exactly. I think in the future when I sit down, probably with you, maybe with Kira, probably with Kira. Kira would probably be very down. But to like watch the trilogy in like
succession,
assuming the third one's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's very watchable.
Yeah,
is what I'll say. Like if you like horror of any kind or slashers, especially, like it's just a watchable movie. Like you aren't gonna sit there and be like, oh, like it's boring or it's. Yeah, like it's the dumbest movie I've ever seen because there are way dumber horror. Like it's just like it's very easy to sit there and just watch and go like, yeah,
hell yeah, he died on a banister.
And I think cool enough way. Yeah, but I do think they set it up where like the third one could be great. Like this one was good, but like I think if they make the right choices, the third one could be great. In
the last 5 years, probably, I've gone into so many like multi-part movies, being like, the opportunity for this last installment to be great is so high.
Yeah,
and maybe it's that anticipation.
Yeah,
but I'm always left underwhelmed. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen this time.
I mean, I think the movie's done already, and they're just waiting now to release it, to give it another year so that they can do another Halloween cycle of marketing. Like, just release it now. I need it. It could be fun, but
yeah. But I think it'll be good. First one will be great to suck you in.
Yeah.
The second one is when you get up, walk around and stretch and still enjoy it, chat, get into it.
Yeah, it's like
fun.
It builds the world.
Yes,
it totally stretches the world out in a way where and especially like almost every slasher or Halloween movie like is so focused on like a small group of people. This one does like it makes it feel like Haddonfield is actually a real town and not just 6 teenagers in 2 houses
at a lake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which I'm not gonna knock on Friday favorite movies.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
It's a nice build world. And I can't remember what I was talking to this about the other day, but it's like just sitting there and spending some time building a world. Yeah, this is so trite and over discussed, but like just world building is just so meaningful and good.
It is. I mean, it really makes you. I think it makes things memorable.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it easier to invest yourself into like the characters that it has.
Yeah.
If you understand that they live in context and not just like from the start of the movie to the end of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It creates a bit more of a mythos and like. I mean, it's Halloween. I don't want to know about like Laurie's grandmother's first husband's job.
That's 100% going to be the third one. They're going to be like, actually, he was Michael's great-grandfather, and he wrote this curse in a book and summoned the devil, and Michael's actually a manifestation of Beelzebub, and that's what the third one's going to be. And then it's going to be directed by James Wan, and it's going to be a haunted house movie.
Don't touch my James Wan. Oh, did he just release recently?
Malignant.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that one. We have differing views on that.
We do. Although it's also interesting because I've noticed now there's like a renaissance of slashers a bit. And then I just watched it yesterday. They remade Slumber Party Massacre.
Why?
I mean, it's actually I would say it's much more of an interesting remake.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Wait, it's already out?
I watched. and like illegal.
Oh!
It's on like Sci-Fi Channel or something.
Right, I saw.
It's like a TV movie. Ooh. It's but it's interesting. It's very, very, very meta. It's like it does not. It's totally a not a parody, but it is a very like meta referential thing.
Interesting. Oh, I'm gonna have to check this out.
And then I hear that Chucky TV series is amazing. Like people say it's amazing, which is stupid. Like why is it amazing? I have no clue. But it's like on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like 96%. It's like the best reviewed Chucky thing of all time.
Oh hell yeah! Haven't seen any Child's Play.
I've seen like the original 2, and then plus like a few of the new ones, like Seed of Chucky, where he has a child, and Bride of Chucky, and then like the remake. It's not really none of them super stand out to me as being special or worth watching personally.
Everything after 1 sounds gay. Like the people that I really look up to when it comes to horror movies, I love their podcasts. Usually I love their opinions. They all seem to like it, but
yeah, I mean you could watch worse things. That's for sure.
Right.
And the new one, the 2019 one, actually I thought was pretty fun. It had Aubrey Plaza as the mom, and again, it was more of a comedy than a horror movie, really, but it was pretty good.
Heck yeah.
Anyways,
all right, I'm gonna check that out. I was about to start watching. What's it called? I know you did last summer, the Amazon Prime one.
Yeah.
And looked at the reviews.
Ooh.
I like to go for a ratio between Google and Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like if Rotten Tomatoes is low, Google's high. It's gonna be good. If Rotten Tomatoes is high, Google's low. It'll be fun, maybe.
Right.
But when they're both tanking, it's just
not a good sign.
A slog.
Yeah.
I guess that can. That's really Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
I think we covered it.
Out of 2 thumbs, how many thumbs?
Okay, wait. Just for visual effects, is 1.5? Is 1 thumb that we hide 1 thumb, or that 1 thumb severed, or that 1 thumb's upside down? I'd give it 1 and 1.5.
Was this a half?
Yeah, there we go. 1.5.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'd give it 1.5 too. That's right.
It wasn't like.
Nah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really fun. Maybe I'd give it 1 actually. We have to get a better scale.
Yeah, that's not a good.
0, 1, 2 is.
It's not a good Richter.
Not enough. No. This is not enough.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we can discuss our second movie.
Yes. Indeed.
So this is one we just watched the other evening with again. Oh, same group of friends actually.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Okay.
Pulse. The Japanese one, not the American remake.
We don't watch remakes.
Yeah, no. Directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, who is a J-horror master.
J-horror?
Japanese horror.
Okay. You know what? Let's cut the jargon and make this. Let's end gatekeeping and make this very,
blue collar movie podcasting.
No. I totally appreciate it.
I don't know why it's like a genre. The J, but yeah, you're right. It's just Japanese horror, so it's not like
J-horror is something else.
Yeah,
it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is spooky.
I don't know if it's called fun, to be honest. It depends. Well, that. I mean, I guess it would depend how deep you're going, but
for me, everything's superficial.
Okay.
My understanding, my interactions, all very simple and superficial. So we require you to reach any appreciable depth.
No, that's not going to go well.
Okay, so let's because this is my first time even hearing about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm ignorant.
Yes.
The basic idea of Pulse, as described to me, was it's the ring,
but with a computer.
With a computer, it's like the Matrix in the ring. Yeah. My understanding of the movie, after I watched it, is there's a computer program.
Yeah.
Now it's not if you. This is what I was shaky on. And I was shaky on throughout the movie. Do you die if you run the program? If you see the program on the screen, or if you touch the floppy disk that it comes on?
Sure.
And my understanding now is that if you just see the program running, then you're going to die.
So I think, first of all, is that it is like, the movie doesn't go out of its way to kind of explain a lot to you. Like, it does have, it's not nonsensical, but it's not like, there actually is a lot of exposition, but I think it's more when you see that image and it says like the forbidden room, you can choose to enter the forbidden room. Yeah. This might be so wrong.
Who cares? Who cares? This is us.
But when you choose to, it's like that appeal of the forbidden room, and it's like also that because the movie's about like starting to connect to the internet, and the internet is letting you see all these different things and all these people, and it's like this like thing shows up. It's like the forbidden room, and do you want to enter it? And your like morbid curiosity makes you want to enter it, and then it prints off that sheet of paper which has instructions on how to enter the forbidden room, which is where the red tape comes in. And then when you go into that room with the red tape, then there's a ghost who's basically, ghosts are like making the internet, they're like coming into the real world through the internet. So they are like using that as a way, and if you do the red tape, it says, someone explains that they can use any simple tools to get into the world, they just need to like tell you how to do it. And so the red tape is like the gateway, and then you like let the ghosts into the real world, and that's when you... And then I guess I don't why the people die is still like it's because when they see the ghost they realize how like meaningless the life is, or like how empty their life will be or something, and then they decide like they just feel this like pull towards the ether.
Did I see the ghost? I'm not there yet. It's very Japanese horror.
Yeah.
In that there's a little... Okay, now, I'm not too well versed in Japanese horror, but from my understanding, there's always a pretty compelling story. Not too much is explained.
Yeah.
It's maybe not always clear, but it is good for very edge of the seat, like it's tense scene.
There's something, and I find this, and I can't say that I'm a huge Japanese horror expert, but I've seen a few of Kiyoshi Kurosawa's which he made like Ringu, and I'm pretty sure he made Cure, which are both Japanese horrors, and like the imagery is just truly unsettling. Yeah. And it's like, doesn't really matter what the context is, but the way the like grainy image of the computer and the slow figures kind of like walking across it, and like you can't see their faces, and it's really pixelated, but there's something, and I find this about Ringu too, like there's something genuinely unsettling about just seeing those movies. Like,
yes,
the way things look in them and the way people act and move, like it is genuinely unsettling, even if some of the plot details aren't the strongest. Like, they definitely are good at evoking that sense of creepiness, I find. And they don't rely on jump scares basically at all.
No, exactly. It's they build up your fear.
Yeah.
Very good at building up your fear.
Yeah.
And that's something I really appreciated was the ghosts, when you saw them on the screen, it looked like the screen was lagging a bit or something, and the ghosts' feet were kind of moving. And then in the real world, when these characters actually saw the ghosts, you could tell they were a ghost because they weren't in the room, and the next second they were.
Yeah.
But it was like the movement was terrifying. Or there's one scene where all of a sudden there's this ghost in the room, and the guy's sitting on the other side of the room against a couch, and all of a sudden he falls down, he climbs up on the couch, hides behind the couch.
Yeah.
And then it cuts. It's a great shot above the couch with him behind the couch, and then here's the couch, and you just see the ghost's hands grab onto the couch. These gross gray hands.
Yeah.
And she like pulls herself up, and then you see it from his perspective, and her face with like very, very Ringu, like that, like that greasy black hair. Sorry.
No. I'm interrupting you. Continue.
No. Yeah, the greasy black hair like kind of falls down over the couch, and then it's like her face just like a blank stare. Yeah. Which, I mean, a blank stare isn't scary, but they make it terrifying. It's so good at building that up and delivering.
It is, and it's not like you said, it's not a monstrous ghost, or it's not like mutilated or anything. It's like this actual like look of pure emptiness that like I don't think most horror movies are able to kind of capture. That like feel it feels like the room is being emptied of life in a weird way. Yeah, it's creepy. It's definitely creepy.
And such great sets.
Yeah.
Like you're in these terrifying just concrete rooms, which I mean nowadays is very, very popular. They look great, but this is early 2001 or no?
Yeah, 2001.
2001, and it's these dingy, gross. Just I don't know how to describe it. Just like concrete rooms, very sparsely furnished, and there's just these cloaked figures that just are so scary.
Yeah. And the color palette is very muted, so nothing like shines through. Everything just feels like this like dullness in a weird way. And I think like again, I haven't seen too many, but I do think like Ringu has that balance of kind of that like horrificness with that ghostliness, whereas this is more of like a ghost movie you want to call it, but like Ringu has kind of those same elements plus the horrific elements, which for me and like the plot I think is a little clearer, which is why I think I like Ringu like a little bit more, and like that's one of my all-time favorites.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds unreal.
Yeah, but this one it's really good, and like the ending gets a bit muddled down in trying to kind of make a story out of the movie, which I don't think is like, honestly, I mean, it's necessary, but like I think it gets too caught up in trying to kind of explain some of what's happening, whereas I think part of the appeal is like not knowing, and it's like this kind of this force that's just overcoming everything. But like the idea that it kind of takes over all of Japan or the world is like a little, I don't know if I want to call it unnecessary or confusing or what, but it's just like by the end of the movie it's like apocalyptic shots of empty streets and broken down cars, and you're like, I mean, I guess if ghosts invaded the world, that would probably happen.
Well, it feels like it's coming out of nowhere because you spend the whole movie with just a few characters. What ends up being one of the main characters is this econ student who has the best fashion sense out of anyone there.
That's cool.
Nice unbuttoned Hawaiian shirts.
He's rad.
Oh, beautiful man. And he is dealing with trying to figure out computers, and it's his ignorance that keeps him safe because he doesn't interact with the program. Beautifully done. Like it's so much fun, especially now looking back and like retrospectively. Yeah, awesome. And he's going through interacting with these people that are dying as they interact with the computer program, and then so it's a very constrained view on the story. Yeah, you're just seeing it basically through this character and his friends, and then at some point the idea of the world is just kind of slipped in, and then you forget about it, and then at the end of the movie, all of a sudden, the world's ending, and that's the main point. You're like,
someone mentions halfway through something about the ghost having a portal to the real world, and you're like, okay, but that's just going to affect the characters we know. But then by the end of the movie, it's like, nope, it is actually the whole world that's affected. Like, okay, sure.
The one scene that, like, and I could be completely wrong, but the one scene that just kind of, like, to me was like, oh, like my, like, aha moment with that was, for the whole movie, we'd already talked about the red tape, where you make a little square to red tape, the ghost can come through it. One of the main characters walks into a room, and the room is just covered in different shaped red squares, and I was like, multiple squares, multiple ghosts! That's how they take over the world. That's probably wrong. That's my simple brain.
It's
piece it together. Yeah. One ghost kills one person, 30 ghosts kill the world.
Yes.
It's exponential growth.
It is. I think it's like a virus, but I think that is ultimately kind of the point, is that like the internet is this weird unknown future, and clearly that movie was 100% right too, that like it's gonna infect the world, which
ghosts are Facebook.
Kind of, yeah, honestly, like a little bit. Like I think that is the point, is like the whole like the computer program is like people trying to dial up to the internet, and like the like weird creepy noise of like that dial up tone and then gets distorted a little bit, and that's like a common like mute leitmotif throughout the film. That like is used to kind of evoke fear, and like, you know, it's pretty weird, and like it's a pretty scary noise. I mean, it's not, because we're so used to it, but it's a very like grit, like it like stings your ears. Like,
yeah, and like we were just talking about for Halloween Kills, the beautiful music from John Carpenter, right? This incredible incredible soundscape that's created. And in this movie, it fits perfectly.
Yeah,
it builds an atmosphere just like John Carpenter does, but it's more industrial. I guess the movie's quite industrial itself.
It is. Yeah, it's like cold as well, and that's also like partly I think the computer thing is like it's this alienating technology that kind of like removes you from real connection, which is why everything in it, the movie, like the color palette and the music, and it just feels cold and empty and like heartless. Not in like a way like the filmmaker didn't put care into it, but like the movie is devoid of like true love and care between the characters.
Yeah, loneliness and I don't know if I'd say abandonment or just loneliness.
Yeah,
I don't know what better word to use.
No.
Yeah, that's just it's the central theme of the movie. But as you're saying, the color palette, the music, the ideology driving this whole phenomenon is definitely just screaming you're alone.
Yeah.
And
that spoke to me.
Message received. Message received. Yeah, no. Big fan of it.
Yeah. We should watch Ringu because like I think this movie is very good, but I think Ringu is like very enjoyable to watch as well. Whereas this movie, and like we just said, I wouldn't call it very enjoyable to watch. Like it's pretty like it's not difficult, but it's just definitely like doesn't give you a lot of room to like identify with a lot of the characters or really kind of get any moments of reprieve. It is just kind of very oppressively like beating down its
I mean
coldness.
Partway through the movie I was thinking about us watching it in the moment, and I was thinking about like how there's like that old saying like at some point in a relationship you have to choose to love your partner, and I was like at this point I am choosing to keep watching this because it's tough.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's tough. It is dreary,
and it's like it was a Saturday night, and I definitely was like, it's not really the vibe, but we went with it anyway. So
it ended up being the perfect piece. I can't imagine having watched anything else. I mean, there's others.
Could have watched Street Trash.
Street Trash, we would say.
I love Street Trash.
Oh, we could talk about a third.
Yeah. You're good.
Dum bud.
Chud. Bud. Chud.
How about as like a little, last few minutes of this? Do you want to talk
bonus Patreon?
Bonus Patreon flag. This actually could be a bit more than just a few minutes. Who cares? This is our test run. We're just testing the waters, seeing how we like this.
Yeah.
So Chud, Cannibal Humanistic Underground Dwellers.
Yeah.
You brought it to my attention recently. Movie from '86.
I don't know for sure. That sounds about right.
Feels like that.
Okay.
You want to give a quick little run through on what Chud 1 is all about?
Yeah, it's been a bit since I've watched it, to be honest. But like, basically, there's these attacks happening in New York, and people are describing monsters attacking them, and they're largely attacking at risk and like unhoused populations. And like, they're dismissed kind of by authority figures and powers that be, but it turns out to be these weird, cannibal monsters from the sewer, which sounds like a dumb, silly, like fun movie where you're like, oh, that's funny, like an 80s movie about, it's like Ninja Turtles, but they're cannibals. Like, that's pretty funny.
They don't eat pizza, they eat homeless people. Unhoused people, whoops.
Yeah. But it's actually like a really like weird and sad and like depressing movie, and like the reality is that like, I mean, this is a spoiler if you haven't seen Chud, but it's the government has been hiding like nuclear waste in the sewers of New York, which has been turning people into these monsters, and it's like it's a pretty real thing. And like I said, they were like attacking at-risk populations, and it brings up the way that those people often get dismissed and their concerns about safety and health and having their necessities met are often like ignored and pushed away.
Yeah.
Which I think it's awesome, but it also is kind of a fun 80s monster movie too. So it's got all those elements.
It is a great monster movie.
Yeah.
But it also has a deep message that resonates now.
Yeah.
Where we have a growing need for concern and understanding in this regard. And I'm not going to say people should watch Chud to gain an understanding, but it is neat to watch Chud and be like, wow, this still holds true. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Okay. No. It's true, and I think like you wouldn't expect it from it, and like I didn't expect it watching it, but it does have something to say for sure.
Yeah. No, I recommend that one.
Yeah,
that one's beautiful.
Absolutely.
But that is not the movie that we're going to discuss because neither of us have watched that recently. So take that quick description for what it is. Maybe we'll talk about that again some other time when we've watched it. What we have watched recently is Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
Chud the Bud.
Dum Bud the Chud. No meaning behind this one. None.
No.
The
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's meets Day of the Dead.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. With the one zombie, right?
For sure.
So they've done away with the chuds.
Yes.
Now there's just a crazy general in the American Army.
Classic.
I'm assuming Army.
Yeah, sure. It's not really. He's just a guy. He's a dude in wearing some like military uniform.
Great pants.
Yeah.
Great pants. Pleated, of course. And he ran the Chud program to create super soldiers.
Yes.
Turns out these super soldiers are just zombies, so not even Chuds.
Yeah.
And then we have one Chud.
Yes.
I don't even remember how he was created.
I mean, I think they like maybe kept him from the original Chud experiment, which is the only connection this has to the original movie, I believe. Or else they're injecting them with nuclear waste, which is also just a classic.
And that's how that works.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Yeah. I mean, you saw in The Simpsons with the two-headed fish, three-headed fish, whatever.
Three-eyed fish.
Three-eyed fish, there we go. Yeah.
It worked with my...
Double dangler. Yeah, then you just have Weekend at Bernie's with the zombie.
Yeah.
And it's great. Oh, right. They Bud the Chud is frozen, and then he's reanimated because he's put into a bathtub, and they drop a blow dryer to the bathtub.
So two friends lose the corpse that they were going to dissect at their school
or
something, and then they go and sneak into the military base and sneak the Chud out. so then they have this dead Chud, and then like they reanimate him, and then it's them trying to like hunt down the Chud. Like, where'd Bud go?
Yeah. Oh, I guess the movie kind of reminds me of you know how you had the split between George A. Romero and What's His Nuts, and so you had Night of the Living Dead, and then you had like the Dead series,
right?
And then the second guy from Night of the Living Dead went off and he made
Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Living Dead. Dan O'Bannon.
Yeah.
With his ultimate piece, Rave to the Grave, which is the ultimate in that series.
Yeah.
This feels like the Dan O'Bannon.
We should
whatever his name is.
I think it's Dan O'Bannon. But...
We'll do better research for future ones. This feels like that.
Yes.
To Day of the Dead.
Yes, totally. I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
And, it's just classic cheese. It's just classic dumb cheese.
Great cheese. Yeah. Bud the Chud can talk.
Yeah, why not?
He
And he meets some like colorful characters in the neighborhood that then get turned into Chuds themselves. A woman wearing like a leopard suit.
Onesie. She tries to give him head or something.
Yep, she does indeed, and then she realizes.
She doesn't realize it. He doesn't look normal.
Yeah.
And he opens his mouth and he has fang-like teeth.
Yeah.
And that's what gives it away.
Yes.
It's great.
Classic.
That is everything I want from an 80s horror movie. It's just unexplained, very superficial.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it.
Totally. And like the teenage kids are kind of like all assholes a little bit, but like whatever.
Yes. Yeah, and they eat some burgers. They cause the town to turn into Chuds, and then they save the day. Yeah,
and the military shows up and like blows half the town to shit, and then they go to a high school dance, which is like the finale. They like blow burger spots up and stuff, but then like the movie just ends at a high school dance.
Oh, it's perfect. Oh, right. And she's 16, and she gets into a bathing suit to lure the Chuds into the pool.
Yes, so they can freeze them with liquid nitrogen.
Right.
Which is how you kill them the only way, apparently.
You don't even kill them, you just freeze them for storage.
No, but then then you break them apart with like
Oh, and then they shoot into light.
Yeah. And then they're made of light for some. That's so stupid.
Not stupid.
Yeah, in a fun way. In a fun way.
Yeah. No, I loved Bud the Chud.
It's definitely worth watching.
It's worth it for the song.
Yes.
Bud the Chud. Nick and I went climbing the other day, and we just sang that the whole time we were climbing.
I think we haven't stopped singing it since we watched it.
That's true. It's been a lot.
It's a very catchy song.
Yeah.
We're very simple folk.
Very simple folk. It doesn't take much to make us happy.
Maybe we are Chuds.
Maybe we are. That could be our name.
Yeah.
2 Buds, no Chuds.
Yeah. Ooh.
Or 2 Chuds, no Buds. 2 Buds and a Chud.
Both intriguing.
Yeah.
We could buy a little Chud monster.
A prop?
Yeah.
To go next to the Starfighter?
Yeah.
Star Destroyer?
Yeah.
Whatever that Star Wars thing is. I don't know what the name of it is. Yeah. Oh, we introduced ourselves.
Yes.
So you know who we are, loosely.
True.
I guess I can also say I volunteer at a movie theater.
It's true.
That
makes you an expert.
I feel like an expert.
Yeah.
I feel like an expert. I can tell people where a bathroom is.
Yeah.
I'm in the cinematic
universe.
Universe, yeah. You know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know our thoughts on Halloween Kills.
You do.
You know our thoughts on Pulse.
You do.
We gave a rough introduction to Chud, which deserves an hour itself.
It does. It's worth it.
And then we did a horrible stepwise backfilling description of the plot for Chud 2, but the Chud.
So if you haven't seen it, it was worse than reading about it on Wikipedia, but...
Correct.
That's fine.
I will say, no matter where you hear about it or where you read about it,
yes,
go see it.
It's true. It's worth watching.
If you can get a copy of it.
Yeah.
That should be easy enough.
I think so. It's probably on Shudder or something.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nick, wave.
Oh, bye.
Bye.